Really don't want to come off as victim blaming, but with every emotional needs, I always tell you guys you have to give it to yourself. So if this is a need for you, a need for assertiveness, a need for protection, try to give that to yourself as much as you can. Because I truly believe that one of the best form of self-love is self-advocacy. Hello and welcome to Kitchen Table Advice. My name is Paola and I am the host of this podcast. This podcast is a safe place where you can ask for any advice you want. It can be relationship advice, both platonic or romantic, career advice, or life advice. I wanted to create a safe place where you can ask for your advice without fear. My purpose here is to serve as a guide and give you a different perspective for you to eventually both find your purpose in life as well as your voice. As a reminder, every name will be anonymous and your identity will always be kept a secret. This is not professional advice and I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist. Just think of this as advice you would get from a close friend on a kitchen table. So, let's begin. Hello, my wonderful gems. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. If you're returning gem, welcome back. If you're new here, hello, how are you? Make sure you set out the vibe, and if you like what you're listening to, then please feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. Okay, so as usual, we just jump into the story for the episode. The title of this story is, I feel like my boyfriend never stands up for me. What do I do? This is going to be a good one. Okay, let me not do that. Let's just jump in. I'm 23 and I'm writing about my boyfriend who is 24. So we had a big fight celebrating my graduation. We had been drinking, tops were blown, voices were raised, and I don't know how to feel. He's never been great at communicating or standing up for me when I need him to. Parentheses, like when I got my butt... Ooh. Like when I got my butt grabbed at a bar while he stood next to me, or when my ex-friends were speaking badly about me to him, or when a group of dudes berated me after I rejected their approaches, again in front of him. I've had many conversations about how I wish he could be a bit more assertive in certain conversations, but he claimed he just doesn't notice and was put on the spot and didn't know what to say. He's not the most confrontational guy, but I've ended up resenting him because I've seen him stand up for his friends, but not for me. I love him to death, and he's the best, kindest partner I've ever had, but it has been very frustrating. All of that because of a pressure cooker that finally exploded a few days ago after I found out a girl that had been harassing me at work for a year, parentheses, who myself and 3 co-workers have reported in separate occasions, had invited him to her graduation party. Quotations, I know you're not allowed to talk to me, but you should come. Now, let me explain. I'm not angry he got invited. He has no control over that. I'm upset that he chose to keep it from me. I also didn't like the underlining shade at the beginning of the message, and I wish he could have at least kept me in the loop before replying. I've come home crying to him so many times about this girl making my work life a living hell, sidelighting me from big projects, smear campaigning me at work, and making comments about my appearance. Overall, just an adult bully. I agree. I eventually left the job and I'm looking for therapy because my self-esteem took a toll due to it. I didn't expect him to be rude to her, but I just wish I would have known. He said he didn't want to ruin my graduation weekend and wasn't planning on going away. But with this constant lack of support in other situations, I don't think that was the real reason. He then sent a, what? You want me to tell you every time I'm being invited to something? Which felt like a problem that got turned into something that wasn't. The fight was bad, and I apologized the next day. I took accountability for my reaction and understood there was no excuse for me having blown my top, and he did too. I know I can't take back my words, but he was very hurt by them and felt horrible. I think I may have put too much pressure on him and my standards were unreachable. I have things to work on and I want to be better for him. However, I know for a fact if this was an isolated event, I wouldn't have overreacted like this, but I felt like I'm at my wit's end. We had a conversation about it today, and things felt a little better. He was receptive to my concerns and understood, but isn't sure where we stand. And I'm not sure either. What do I do? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for your story, and we will just jump into the advice. Oh, there was several thoughts running through my head. At first, I was like, okay, he's not the confrontational type, so maybe he doesn't know how to go about situations when they arise, such as someone harassing you. This is so unfortunate, but I'm pretty sure it has happened to a lot of women, myself included, unfortunately, where something happens and even you as a woman, when it's happening to you, you don't quite know how to react, such as like the guy grabbing her butt. Like, that is crazy. That is wild. And people, unfortunately, people just treat other people, especially women, as property, and they think they can just put their hands on our person because they're interested. Completely disgusting, completely horrible. It has happened to some of us. We didn't know what to do, and we just froze up. So at first, when I was reading, I was like, okay, he's obviously not familiar with this type of harassment, and I don't know if you're the first relationship he's been with, or he has had other relationships before. I mean, you're in your 20s. This could have been the first or the second. It just depends on the person. So I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt then. However, you said he stands up for his friends. That got me thrown up for a loop. So it's not that he can't stand up, but I guess my question would be, are his friends male? Or does he not know what harassment towards women look like? I don't know. I'm very confused. I am very confused. But yeah, this is definitely a problem, and honestly, I don't know what to do in a situation like this. I'm really sorry. However, the main advice I tend to give on this channel is know who you are, or know thyself, because I really think that is the best thing for us in life. Once we're able to know ourselves, know our likes, know our dislikes, you will be surprised by how much you're able to find the type of partner who you're most compatible with. Now, I'm not saying you're not compatible with your boyfriend. However, it clearly seems to me, from an outsider looking in, again, I'm not in your relationship, I can't assess all of it. But from this point, from an outside perspective, it seems like you want someone who has an assertive nature, at least at times, not all the time, but when you need them to be a little more, I guess, I don't know, the word isn't aggressive, but like, yeah, don't do that to my person. Oh my gosh. I know. My interpretation of aggressive was really aggressive there. But you need that person who's going to step up and give him the business. Again, depending on the time, you need them to cool back down and be calm, collected, caring, loving. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you need a balance in your relationship. You need to be able to be assertive as well as receptive and calm and caring and all of that. And it seems like your boyfriend is just the type who is chill, laid back, doesn't see the big deal in this situation. It's just, yeah, my advice will actually be break up and reflect on what type of partner you actually want in your life. And like I said, this is probably an emotional need for you, not my, let's just call it spade a spade. This is probably an emotional need for you. You have an emotional need of protection, which don't be surprised, most women do. All right. We live in a dangerous world, in a dangerous situation. This is an emotional need for you. And with all emotional needs, I will always tell you, try to give that to yourself. So, and this is not me victim blaming. Your boyfriend is out of line, out of pocket, especially since he sent up for his friends when they're in a tense situation. However, when it's you, he doesn't notice it. It's just strange, especially if you've brought it up to him several times. He still doesn't notice it. I don't want to say he doesn't care about you, but it just doesn't. Something is not clicking there. Something, and some people might say this is me jumping the gun, but I don't think you should be in a relationship with someone who you vocalize a need in your life. You need them to be a little bit more assertive. You need them to stand up when you feel attacked or you feel threatened, yet change has not happened. And I do understand that change takes time. It takes time to change our habits. However, it's something's gotta give. I guess it depends. How many times have you told him this, and since then, how long have y'all been together? There's a lot at play here that I don't have. However, but I also don't think the way he's acting is, I don't know. I don't like the way he's acting. But I can also understand for laid back people, for non conversational people, they might not know how to react in such a situation. Just like I was saying, as some women whom this has happened to them, they don't know how to react. They might just freeze up, and like, oh my gosh, what do I do to this? Because it's not something they're used to. But if this is something that has occurred multiple times, and every single time he's still not standing up for you, I don't know. It's just leaving a really bad taste in my mouth. And the second thing, really don't want to come off as victim blaming, but with every emotional needs, I always tell you guys you have to give it to yourself. So if this is a need for you, a need for assertiveness, a need for protection, try to give that to yourself as much as you can. Because I truly believe that one of the best form of self-love is self-advocacy. And going back to the story, if you're in a similar situation of this, or if this is you, if you were touched inappropriately, what did you do? Did you just freeze up because you didn't know what to do, which is completely fine. It happens to the best of us, all right? We don't think this person is willing to do this, and then they surprise us. Did you freeze up, or did you stand up for yourself? And yes, even when you do stand up for yourself, I understand you still want that backing and that support from an outside perspective, because that does help. You don't want to be the only person standing up, because people are going to try to misconstrue the story into something it isn't. I understand that, but did you at least give yourself that primary protection is what I'm trying to say. And not to excuse your boyfriend, by the way, but were you able to give that to yourself, especially if this is a need for you? If you always tend to find yourself in situations where someone is attacking you or someone is imposing on you, are you able to stand up for yourself? Are you able to advocate for yourself, not just to your loved ones, but to strangers as well? And I'm not talking about just the bar thing, but also with the girl who was giving you a hard time at work. Were you able to stand up for yourself? I mean, you did say you reported her, but in instances where she was giving you a hard time, like, what did you do? Did you just stand still, let her say what she needed to say, and then reported her in the back end? I would never advocate for violence. However, sometimes standing up to someone, looking at them in the eye and telling them they're not going to mess with you does help. I'm not saying be violent at work. I'm just saying sometimes you need to advocate for yourself. Sometimes you need to stand up for yourself. And in doing so, other people might back you up or they might not back you up, but you have fulfilled that initial need for yourself. And yes, I understand. And having that support, having that backing from a person who's also able to stand up for you is great. However, people are cowards. I'm just going to come back and say people are cowards, okay? I know we read fairy tales, we read fantasies where the men protect and they lead, but I don't know. A lot of them are cowards. Some women are cowards as well. I don't know if this is because of how we were raised or whatever, but lately I've been finding out a lot of people are cowards, and that protection, that support that maybe people back in the day used to get when they would see injustice and they would just stand up for it. It doesn't tend to happen today. People will just let stuff happen to you and then come in the back end and try to be like, oh, what she did was wrong, what this was wrong. But when that was happening, you just stood there and you didn't say anything. Like, that doesn't help. But I understand. Some people are just not confrontational. Some people just don't know how to advocate. But if it happens to you, you have to at least be able to advocate for yourself. I'm not saying advocate for everyone out here, especially if you don't know them, but you should at least advocate for yourself. You should at least try to give yourself that protection, and however it looks like. That's all I'm going to say. And in relation to your boyfriend, I would say break up. It doesn't seem like he understands the gravity of his inaction, is how I'm going to word that. I don't think he understands how big this is for you. And it's not just about standing up for you. I'm pretty sure it's deeper than that. You feel, oh, you also feel like you're not being understood. Maybe he looks at it as if it's unreasonable or it's not that big of a deal. It's just weird. It's just weird. Overall, it's just weird. And then going back to the girl at work, that was just inappropriate. Overall, just inappropriate. I think he should have let you know, especially given the fact that you have history with this person. You don't really like them. You don't really mess with them. Yet she's sending him an invite. That in itself is rude. She knows what she's doing. She knows you and her are not in good terms. So she's trying to intimidate you in this way, yet trying to make it seem like it's not that big of a deal. Girls do this all the time. It's so manipulative. It's so petty. It's so juvenile because this is high school behavior. But she knows exactly what she's doing. And the fact that he's not coming to you with that, it's just weird. Like, what is the relationship between him and her? I don't know. Does he work where you work? Is that how you two became girlfriend and boyfriend? I don't understand. That one was just weird, petty, disgusting. Don't like it. I would just say, I'm just gonna go back to my original advice. Break up with your boyfriend. He's not worth it. I don't see the value in you being in a relationship with him. Break up with him and really try to find in yourself what you like in a partner, what you want from a romantic relationship, all of that, and try to learn as much as you can from this relationship. I know you said he does every other thing right, which is great, but he's not meeting your main need, and your main need is to feel protected around your loved one. Again, it's a very common need, so I understand this. If he's not meeting your main need, but he's, I guess, cooking and taking out the trash and do all this other stuff, it's like, but you still don't feel protected. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, break up. I'm sorry. Try to learn as much as you can from this, and pick partners who are going to be assertive when need be, and also who are going to be calm and caring when need be. Because at the end of the day, balance is key, right? All right, so that is it for this episode. Please let me know what you thought in the comment section below. And as usual, please visit our website. It's called kitchentableadvice.com. That's where we get some of our stories as well as business inquiries. Our website also has a plethora of other stuff. We have blogs that just talks about everything and anything. We have poems, again, about just how great and how horrible life is. And we have weird contemporary art made by me. So if you want to support me in a way that is of no cost to you, okay, free stuff, sharing knowledge. If you want to support me in any way, shape, or form, then please visit the website. And most importantly, if you feel inspired by anything on the website, please let me know. I want to hear it. All right. So thank you so much for spending your day with me, and I'll see you next week. Bye.